For decades, the life of John Denver has fascinated millions around the world. Known for his unforgettable voice, his iconic songs, and his ability to capture the beauty of life in music, John Denver's public persona seemed almost untouchable. Fans adored him, critics admired him, and the world believed they understood him through his lyrics, performances, and interviews. Yet behind the fame, the bright smiles, and the success, there was an entirely different story. A story rarely told. A story of struggles, secrets, and moments that few people had ever witnessed or understood. Today, we are going to reveal what the public didn't know about John Denver. The story you're about to hear includes personal struggles, relationships that shaped his life, unseen conflicts, and revelations that have been hidden from the public eye for decades. This is not just a retelling of what we already know. This is an uncovering of the truths that were quietly tucked away, behind closed doors, in the life of one of music's most beloved legends. Before we dive into the first shocking revelations, I want to take a moment to encourage you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is important because it allows YouTube to recognize that viewers are interested in this type of content, which means more people like you will discover incredible stories like this. Every like, comment, and subscription helps us reach more fans, ensuring these untold stories can be shared with those who truly care about the truth behind the legends. If you're watching and feel moved, amazed, or shocked by the story, take a moment to leave a comment down below. Tell us what surprises you the most. Your comments not only help us understand what you want to see more of, but also allow you to become part of this discussion and community. And if you could support the channel even further, consider leaving a super thanks. This small gesture helps us create more in-depth, high-quality videos that uncover the real stories behind the headlines, making sure every detail is as accurate and engaging as possible. If you can't, don't worry. Simply watching and commenting is already a huge support. Now, let's step back in time and start at the beginning. John Denver was born Henry John Duchendorf Jr. on December 31st, 1943, in Roswell, New Mexico. Few people realize that his childhood was marked by both privilege and challenge. His father was an Air Force officer, a career that meant the family moved frequently. Growing up in a military family provided discipline, structure, and exposure to a broad range of experiences, but it also created instability and separation from extended family and long-term friends. John learned early how to adapt to new schools, new environments, and new people. He learned resilience, but he also developed a quiet longing for stability and a sense of belonging, emotions that would follow him throughout his entire life. Music entered John's life at an early age, offering him a refuge from the constant changes and uncertainties. He learned to play the guitar, sing, and compose music, finding a personal outlet for emotions that could otherwise have been overwhelming. Yet, it wasn't only music that shaped him. John's personality was a mix of optimism, sensitivity, and a drive for perfection. While he appeared cheerful and grounded to outsiders, those close to him knew of his intense internal world. A world filled with doubts, insecurities, and a yearning for connection. It is within this hidden inner life that the first mysteries of John Denver begin to unfold. The mysteries we are about to reveal. By the time he reached adulthood, John Denver was already a rising star. Yet fame brought complications he could never have anticipated. Friendships were tested. Relationships became more complex. And the pressures of the music industry began to take a toll on his mental and emotional well-being. He faced struggles with maintaining his personal identity while being constantly scrutinized by the media and adored by millions. Behind camera smiles, there were moments of deep self-reflection, confusion, and challenges that only those closest to him could understand. What many fans do not realize is that John's personal life was filled with complex relationships that influenced not only his music, but his public persona. While the world celebrated songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads, and Annie's Song, very few knew the private stories that inspired these creations. There were loves that never made the headlines, heartbreaks that shaped his emotional depth, and difficult choices that had lifelong consequences. Today, for the first time in decades, some of these stories are coming to light. Stories that reveal the human side of a man we thought we knew so well. John Denver's life was not just about the music or the fame. Behind the iconic smile and the calm voice that touched millions, there were struggles that were never discussed publicly. The pressures of constant travel, demanding fans, and a relentless media created an emotional roller coaster that few understood. While audiences saw him performing on stage, writing lyrics, and charming the world, the reality of his personal experiences remained largely hidden. These were moments that shaped the man behind the music, moments of doubt, solitude, and introspection that would later influence both his work and the way he approached life's challenges. From the earliest stages of his career, John faced a delicate balance between the expectations of the public and the needs of his private life. He wanted to succeed, to inspire, and leave a legacy through music. Yet he also craved meaningful connection, stability, and understanding. This inner tension created both brilliance and vulnerability. People often remember his music as uplifting and optimistic, but the truth is that many of his greatest songs emerged from a place of deep reflection, personal pain, and emotional complexity. Understanding this duality is key to truly grasping the man whose life we are uncovering today. Relationships played a central role in this hidden world. John Denver's connections with family, friends, and romantic partners reveal layers of character and decision-making that were often overlooked. These relationships were filled with love, passion, misunderstandings, and sometimes heartbreak. While the public saw only the surface, smiling couples, happy family photos, and celebrated collaborations, the reality was far more intricate. His private interactions often involved intense emotions, personal sacrifices, and choices that were difficult to navigate under the constant watch of fame. These are the stories that are only now coming to light. One of the most misunderstood aspects of John Denver's life was the way fame shaped his personality and decisions. Being in the public, I brought admiration and rewards, but also immense pressure. He was expected to embody perfection, kindness, and optimism at all times, a role that left little room for personal error or vulnerability. Any misstep could be amplified, misrepresented, or judged harshly by fans, critics, or the media. This pressure led to moments of private struggle that few ever knew existed, creating an inner conflict between the man he was and the persona the world demanded. Despite these pressures, John remained deeply committed to his passions. Whether through environmental activism, humanitarian efforts, or artistic projects, he consistently sought to make a meaningful impact. But behind these achievements, there were private decisions, sacrifices, and dilemmas that shaped the man far more than his public accomplishments. Understanding the complexity of these choices provides a clearer picture of the life and mystery we are about to explore, a life filled with triumphs, struggles, and untold stories. As John Denver's career soared, the pressures of public life intensified. Every performance, interview, and public appearance carried weight. And behind the smiles and melodies, there was a private man navigating internal conflicts few could see. Friends described moments where John would retreat into silence after shows, staring at the ceiling, lost in thought, try to reconcile the expectations of his audience with his own personal ideals. These were moments where fame felt less like an accomplishment and more like a chain, binding him to a role that demanded perfection. The contrast between his private introspection and public exuberance became a defining tension throughout his life, influencing not only his music, but also the relationships closest to him. Romantic relationships, in particular, revealed the human complexity beneath the public persona. While the world celebrated his marriage to Annie Denver and admired the apparent harmony they shared, insiders have revealed that the reality was often far more nuanced. The demands of fame created challenges that could not be easily resolved through love alone. Long tours, constant travel, and the pressure to maintain a public image created gaps that emotional intimacy could not always bridge. Annie, with her grounded personality and empathy, often found herself balancing the needs of her own heart with those of a partner who was emotionally and professionally stretched to his limits. This delicate balance shaped much of the private story that remained hidden for decades. Beyond romantic entanglements, John faced professional challenges that few outside the industry understood. Creative pressures, disagreements with management, and the constant need to innovate weighed heavily on him. He was not content to rest on past success. He sought to continuously evolve as an artist and human being. Yet each choice brought scrutiny. Decisions that seemed simple to him, choosing a song, taking a break, speaking candidly in interviews, were dissected and magnified, leaving him constantly aware of the consequences of every action. This scrutiny affected not only his career but also his mental and emotional health, contributing to moments of profound reflection and, at times, isolation. Amidst these pressures, John found solace in certain passions that were rarely highlighted in media portrayals. Environmental activism became a sanctuary, a space where he could pursue meaningful change outside the realm of performance. His love for nature, conservation, and humanitarian efforts revealed dimensions of character that were often overshadowed by fame. In these endeavors, he could act with authenticity, unburdened by expectations or public judgment. They allowed him to reconnect with his true self, reminding him of values and joys that existed outside of fame's glare. John's interactions with close friends and collaborators also highlight the human complexity that the public rarely saw. Behind the scenes, he was known for his generosity, his humor, and his thoughtfulness, often going out his way to help those around him. Yet, he could also be intensely private, protective of his inner world, and cautious about who gained access to his personal life. This duality, openness paired with guardedness, shaped the way he navigated fame and intimacy, influencing both his personal relationships and professional collaborations. The mystery surrounding John Denver extended choices and events that were never fully explained during his lifetime. There were periods where he withdrew from public appearances, rumors of personal struggles circulated, and speculations about his private life emerged in whispers. Only now, through interviews with trusted friends, family members, and the careful examination of his personal archives, are the pieces of this puzzle becoming clearer. Each revelation offers a more complete understanding of a man who is far more human, vulnerable, and complex than the public ever assumed. As we continue, it's crucial to recognize that this exploration is not about sensationalism. It is about truth, context, and understanding. John Denver's story is a testament to the interplay between brilliance and vulnerability, success and solitude, love and struggle. By examining the hidden dimensions of his life, we gain insight into the challenges of maintaining authenticity in the public eye and the ways in which personal pressures can shape even the most outwardly celebrated figures. As John Denver's fame reached its peak, the public perception of his life was a carefully curated image. A successful musician, a loving partner, an environmental advocate, and a voice that brought comfort to millions. Yet behind this polished facade, there existed layers of complexity that few understood. Close friends and insiders described John as a man torn between expectation and reality, constantly juggling the demand of his career, the pressures of fame, and his personal desire for authenticity. This tension became a breeding ground for personal struggles, emotional conflicts, and controversial decisions that were never fully explained during his lifetime. One of the most striking aspects of John's life was the contrast between his public persona and private vulnerabilities. In public, he radiated confidence and joy, performing with energy and charm, often making audiences feel as though he was singing directly to their hearts. Privately, however, he battled feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and the relentless weight of expectation. Friends recall moments where he would disappear from gatherings, retreating to a quiet space to process the intensity of his thoughts and emotions. The pressures of always being on for his fans and industry created a psychological burden that few outside his inner circle could truly grasp. Romantic relationships beyond Annie Denver also added layers of complexity to his personal life. While John's love for Annie was genuine and deep, there were periods of emotional distance that sparked rumors and speculation. It is now clear that the challenges of maintaining intimacy under the spotlight were immense. Long tours, relentless schedules, and the scrutiny of the press made sustaining emotional connection a delicate balancing act. Insider accounts suggest that these strains occasionally led John to seek solace in solitude or private connections outside the public eye. Actions that, while human, became fodder for speculation and controversy. Another key aspect of the mystery surrounding John Denver involves his artistic choices and professional decisions. Though celebrated for his music, John occasionally faced criticism from the industry for taking creative risks that defied expectations. These choices, whether in songwriting collaborations or public statements, sometimes sparked debates and disagreements with managers, producers, and even fellow musicians. These tensions highlight the challenges of staying true to one's creative vision while navigating the commercial demands of the music industry, a constant conflict that shaped much of John's professional life. John's involvement in environmental and humanitarian causes also exposed him to public scrutiny in unexpected ways. His advocacy, though sincere, occasionally drew criticism from political commentators, media outlets, and even some fans who misinterpreted his intentions. John's insistence on speaking candidly about issues close to his heart often positioned him in the center of controversy, revealing a man unafraid to express his convictions even when it risked his popularity. These moments of tension between personal integrity and public expectation further illuminate the complexity of his character. Perhaps the most mysterious and little-known aspects of John Denver's life relate to his inner emotional world. He was intensely private about his fears, regrets, and personal struggles, which fueled speculation after major life events. Interviews with close confidants reveal that he often felt misunderstood, trapped by fame, and burdened by the expectation to always be a symbol of perfection. There were times when he questioned his choices, his relationships, and his ability to reconcile his personal needs with the relentless demands of celebrity. These private struggles, though hidden from public view, played a central role in shaping his decisions and the trajectory of his life. One of the most compelling revelations uncovered after decades of reflection is the duality in John's personality. He was at once extraordinarily kind, generous, and empathetic, yet simultaneously introspective, perfectionistic, and sometimes emotionally distant. This duality explains much of the mystery surrounding his actions and relationships. Friends describe him as a man who would go out his way to help someone in need, yet who could retreat into silence for hours or days, grappling with thoughts that no one else could access. Understanding this duality is essential to interpreting both his public achievements and private challenges. In this phase of his life, even those closest to him were often puzzled by the choices he made. Decisions about touring, personal investments, friendships, and romantic relationships sometimes appeared contradictory or surprising. Only by examining the full context, his upbringing, values, and emotional framework, can these choices be understood. The tension between who John was internally and how he was perceived externally fueled much of the speculation and intrigue that continues to surround his life. The most astonishing revelation, however, concerned the pressures John faced in balancing fame with emotional honesty. For decades, fans saw a version of him that was polished, confident, and always uplifting. But behind closed doors, he wrestled with feelings of isolation, vulnerability, and the constant challenge of remaining authentic in a world that demanded constant performance. Friends and family recount moments of deep conversation, private reflections, and expressions of doubt that were never shared publicly. These candid insights reveal a man whose brilliance was intertwined with profound emotional complexity. This hidden dimension of John Denver's life explains why certain aspects of the story remained a mystery for so long. It was not negligence or secrecy for the sake of intrigue. It was a protective instinct, an effort to preserve both personal integrity and emotional well-being in a world that rarely allowed either. The mystery surrounding him, then, is not merely about unanswered questions or unexplained events. It is about the human struggle to live fully while balancing extraordinary talent with equally extraordinary pressures. As we reach the final chapter of this journey into the life and mysteries of John Denver, it becomes evident that his story is far more intricate than most fans, and even historians, have ever understood. What appears on the surface, the music, the fame, the public appearances, is only a fraction of the man behind the legend. The deeper truth lies in the interplay of his creativity, personal struggles, emotional depth, and the complex dynamics of relationships that shaped his existence in ways few could perceive. This narrative, spanning decades of triumph, struggle, and revelation, illustrates not only the extraordinary nature of John Denver's career, but also the profoundly human challenges he faced behind closed doors. Challenges that now, after years of silence and reflection, are finally emerging into public awareness. From his earliest days, John's life was characterized by an insatiable drive to achieve and a passion for music that defined his identity. He was a man who understood the power of art to connect with hearts, yet simultaneously grappled with the personal cost of living in the public eye. This duality, his ability to inspire millions while confronting intense private battles, forms the crux of what made his story compelling and, until now, only partially understood. As we have explored his relationships, particularly with Annie Denver, illuminate the intricate balance of love, loyalty, and personal sacrifice that shaped much of his private life. Their connection, Immortalized through iconic music yet shadowed by misunderstandings and pressures, is a testament to both the beauty and complexity of human bonds in the context of fame. One of the most significant revelations from this exploration is the emotional resilience required of John Denver to navigate his dual worlds. Behind the public performances and chart-topping hits lay countless hours of private reflection, moment of doubt, and a relentless effort to reconcile personal desires with external expectations. Accounts from friends and family reveal a man who often felt misunderstood, isolated, and burdened by the weight of his own ideals and the public's projections. It was this internal struggle that contributed to both the brilliance and the mystery surrounding him. The mystery was not manufactured. It was a natural consequence of a life lived under extraordinary scrutiny, demanding constant adaptation while maintaining a sense of self. The narrative of John Denver is also a cautionary tale about the effect of fame on personal relationships. While he was celebrated as an extraordinary talent and a gentle soul in the public imagination, the demands of constant touring, public appearances, and artistic pressures created tensions that tested the bonds of love, family, and friendship. Annie Denver's experiences, as revealed in interviews decades later, provide crucial insight into the emotional labor and personal sacrifices required to sustain a life intertwined with fame. The pressures of being close to someone whose existence is constantly dissected by the world cannot be overstated. Her reflections, combined with first-hand accounts from friends and colleagues, illustrate how John's personal struggles often went unnoticed or were misunderstood, further deepening the layers of mystery around his life. Beyond personal relationships, John's story highlights the challenges of staying true to one's values in the face of societal and professional expectations. His unwavering commitment to music, environmental causes, and humanitarian efforts sometimes clash with commercial interests and public perception. These conflicts illustrate the difficulty of navigating an environment where artistic integrity, moral conviction, and societal pressures collide. His choices, often scrutinized and debated, reveal a man striving to honor both his inner compass and the expectations of an audience that demanded perfection. Understanding these tensions is essential for anyone seeking to grasp the full depth of his journey. Another striking aspect of John Denver's life was his ability to maintain authenticity despite external pressures. While the media frequently presented a simplified or romanticized version of events, the reality was far more nuanced. Friends and insiders recount instances of introspection, vulnerability, and candid honesty that rarely appeared in public. He often shared his fears, doubts, and personal reflections only with those closest to him, creating a rich yet largely unseen tapestry of human experience. These private truths, emerging only through careful examination and retrospective interviews, underscore the importance of separating myth from reality in the study of public figures. The most powerful lesson from this exploration is the enduring significance of human resilience and self-discovery. John Denver's life, filled with both triumph and challenge, reminds us that even individuals who appear flawless on the surface experience profound struggle. His journey demonstrates the importance of empathy, understanding, and the recognition that every person's public image is only part of the story. By examining his struggles, victories, and personal revelations, we gain a deeper appreciation for the courage it takes to live authentically, particularly when one's life is under relentless observation. For those watching this video, it is important to reflect not only on John Denver's story, but also on the broader implications of fame, love, and personal sacrifice. His life invites us to consider how we navigate our own challenges, the ways we support loved ones, and the importance of maintaining authenticity in environments that may demand compromise. This is a story not just about a legendary musician, but about the universal human experience, balancing personal aspirations with external demands, nurturing relationships amidst pressure, and ultimately seeking meaning and fulfillment despite adversity. Now, if you have stayed with us until this point, you've witnessed the layers of John Denver's life unfold in ways few have ever seen. The public persona, the private struggles, the love, the heartbreak, the personal revelations, all contribute to a complex, multidimensional narrative that deserves careful consideration and reflection. And it is here at the conclusion that we invite you to take part in the story. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Your subscription is crucial because it signals to YouTube that content like this is engaging and meaningful, allowing us to continue uncovering hidden truths and sharing them with a wider audience. Every like and comment helps us understand what resonates most, guiding the creation of future videos that delve even deeper into stories like John Denver's. If you can, consider supporting the channel further through a super thanks, which enables us to dedicate more time to research, storytelling, and high-quality production. And if financial support isn't possible, simply comment below on what part John Denver's story surprised you the most, or share any thoughts and reflections you have about fame, personal struggle, or the complexities of human relationships. Your engagement is invaluable and allows this channel to grow and continue delivering stories that captivate, educate, and inspire. Finally, don't stop here. On your screen, you'll see a video that is even more compelling, packed with insights, hidden stories, and emotional revelations about other iconic figures. Trust us, it's a journey that will capture your attention in ways this one has, and perhaps even inspire you more deeply. Click now and continue exploring the mysteries, emotions, and human truths that make these stories unforgettable.